Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm actually going to talk to you more about Alpha Fortis, like I've been saying for the last couple of vlogs. I want to be super open with everybody. You know how you get all these advertising saying, quick, start your own brand, it's easy as, you make millions really quickly. Unless we suck at it, which we might a little bit, it's not that case. It's never as easy as everybody else tries to sell you on it. And if they are trying to sell you on it and they don't come out and tell you how it really is, I wouldn't bother going to their courses. You can learn a lot through courses, but just take them with a pinch of salt, because when we first started, we thought we were going to be millionaires within a year. Like, we had high stakes on it. We spent, I'll run through the budget in a minute on what we went through. And yeah, we're still struggling to keep it afloat, and we both get paid pretty high paying jobs, both me and my business partner Marnie. So I want to be super open with you guys about everything, how much we've earned, how long we've been doing it for, how we started it. I probably won't run through the process of designing and everything, because that's a way longer vlog. This is going to be more, I guess, against the financials of how we run the company. Neither of us influencers. So yeah, well, my TikTok went off a little bit, but TikTok doesn't really, people just want to look at my six pack. So let's get to it. I did a little spreadsheet for y'all. Not really a spreadsheet, it's just on my, oh, I just broke my Gorilla Pod. It's not really a spreadsheet. This is way too close, needs to zoom out. I can't zoom on this. But anyway, here's what we got. So, sorry about the handwriting, it is terrible. So we started with a company called Slyletica. If you ever hear of that company, do not use them, they rip you off. They ended up owing us a fair bit of money, but anyway, we won't go through that. You're better off learning how to do it yourself. So our starting budget, we thought we could put 60 grand to 80K into it. Well, roughly we thought 40 grand. That turned into 60 grand, then turned into 80 grand because everything just blew out of budget. We had probably 10 items for sale, and this was in August 2019. We started in 2018 designing and everything, but we actually released in August 2019. So our clothes cost us roughly 60 grand to launch. The business setup, which was computers and everything like that, that was about 10 grand. As you just seen that amazing spreadsheet that I just showed you guys, we spent 60K on clothes, 10 grand on the business setup, that's computers, getting an ABN, all the back and forths with everything else, and then 10K on media roughly. So that's a rough estimate on what we spent, which is like 80K for our first ever launch. And this was without knowing anything about marketing, without knowing anything about ads. We tried to do it all ourselves for the first, this is our year and a half of actually launching. So for that year and a half until about 2 months ago, we done it all ourselves. I'll show you a little bit of a meeting that I had with our Romanian marketer. So out of that, we profited zero. We sold $6,689 worth of clothing. So that's overall, that's revenue, that's everything. That's with people paying for shipping as well, by the way. So all in all, from that launch, we're still down $73,000. Fast forward a year, then with that year, fast forward September, October, November, January, February, March, April, 7 months. We thought we were going to release every 3 months. This is how naive we are. We actually thought we were going to sell out of our first lot of clothing without doing much marketing, all organic growth, which was crazy. I'd spend like an hour and a half every day on Instagram talking to people, liking things, commenting on things. Didn't get me too far. So from that initial $80,000, we sold $6,500 worth of stuff, roughly. Anyway, fast forward 7 months to April 2020, we spent roughly another $80,000 with the same amount of gear. And we ended up selling 15 grand. So if you look at it in the big terms things, we doubled our revenue, but we also put in the same amount of money. After that, we got rid of Slyletica because they were just doing everything wrong by us. And then we started having a little bit of following, we started getting a little bit more traction, but we kind of had to start everything all ourselves again, and then find factories from China. We had to source fabrics, we had to pick our own fabrics, we had to design all our own stuff. Neither of us are graphic design, fashion designers or anything, so we just made a template tech pack and then drew up our own stuff, sampled heaps of stuff, which was a lot easier than actually going through a middleman. Like, dealing with the companies was so much easier than having a middleman to deal with, because they just ruined everything for us. We'd get these samples that'd be shit, we'd go back and forth. When we started, once we figured out everything, it probably took us about 4 months to launch a whole new collection with sampling and everything like that. So fast forward to, I didn't write it down, but that was the third release. I think we've actually done 4 releases. Have we done 4 releases or 3?
3.
So yeah, so fast forward from that second release to our current release. By the way, I'm again going to be super honest with you, the quality of all the old stuff we didn't like, we were not happy with, and we thought just getting it to market was going to be alright. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't up to our standard. With our clothing, it's not just the only thing we want to have with Alpha Fortis, and I'm going to share with you in later vlogs what we're going to bring to the table as well, because we actually want to start helping people. Yeah, we weren't happy entirely with the quality of our clothing. Like, it wasn't terrible, it just wasn't our standard. We want to be a Lulu standard, but with affordable prices, I guess. So fast forward to our third release. Our third release, we got almost double the amount of items. Different colors, everything like that, for $60,000. I think it might have even been less, but it's $60,000 all up, and that was including marketing, including shoots, everything. $60,000, so $20,000 less, double the items, and even still, that wasn't including. Oh, it probably was including ads, to be honest. Oh no, it wouldn't have including ads. I don't know where all this money. Yeah, not including ads. So $60,000 to launch, and our biggest problem was we thought we could run ads by ourselves and learn and go up against everybody who's hired people who do this for like 30 years or so. So I'm a boilermaker by trade, as you probably all know. My missus is a software engineer. Both have no background in advertising, no background in clothing. We just love fashion and want to bring out what we think is fashionable to you guys. So from that $60,000 to launch, I think it might have been a little bit less, but roughly $60,000. I then started spending roughly $2,000 a week on Google Ads, trying to learn it and see how I went with it, and I did terribly. I was probably breaking even. So $2,000 a week on ads, we were selling 2,000 items worth of gear, so we were losing money because we weren't making back what we spent on the gear because we're spending it all on ads. So that was a massive no-no. Unless you study marketing a lot before you release a brand, do not try to do the marketing yourselves, because it is really hard unless you can get viral, or unless you research a lot before you start doing it. And from this one, so for the last 2 months, which I can show you here, I'll just quickly get it up. The last 2 months we've hired from the February 17th to April 17th, or to the date, we have hired a marketer, and he's run us through everything that we need to start doing, and we completely stuffed up our algorithm for the pixel through Facebook and everything. So this is just selling to Australia through Facebook ads. This is what we've earned so far. So if you can see that there, almost $15,000 in the last 2 months. And now that makes up more than both launches combined, almost. Not quite. But that's for the last 2 months. So this third release, we released it in January, I think it was, till today, we've done $25,000 in sales. So yeah, that equals to more than both of the last 2 sales combined by an extra $4,000. But we also spent a lot more in advertising and wasting money on me trying to do the advertising ourselves. So right now, our biggest help with the company was getting our tax back, because when in Australia anyway, I don't know where everybody watches this from, but in Australia, if you start a business, everything you earn personally obviously gets taxed from your full-time jobs. But when you spend that money on building a business, our government lets you claim all the money that you spend and put into the business. So in saying that, we've currently invested $230,000 into Alpha Fortis. I'll show you in a sec, we do still have a lot of stock left over. Probably like maybe $70,000 worth of stock left over that we're still trying to sell. And since we spent $220,000 on the business itself, this is just a Slack thing. We could write both of our full-time wages off, which ended up giving us $60,000 back in our taxes, which we put towards the business. So some people might say that's a bit silly because you've earned less, but that tax money that you pay the government is dead anyway. You don't get that back ever. You never get that back. It's just money that you can't utilize anymore. So if you start a business and you can offset money that you've earned full time, even though you're spending more, obviously for the potential gains in the future, you then get that money back from the government to put into your business, which means that the government has pretty much invested $60,000 into your business because you don't have to pay them tax. So our plans going forward, and speaking to our marketer, is to obviously let him keep handling the ads. Right now we spend $70 a day in ads. And before Facebook done its whole upgrade thing, we were getting about $2,500 to $3,000 a week for the last month. So if you do the math on that, it's pretty good. Like it's getting there. It's getting better off the amount we're putting into it. This month we should have enough sales, because we haven't even done $300 in conversions since being with this new marketer. He says that once we have $300 in sales, then we can really start marketing to lookalike customers who actually want to buy from us. So that is basically where Alpha Fortis is. We do have this new range coming out in probably a month's time, which we're actually both super excited about to see how it goes now that we have a marketer on board instead of us trying to do everything. Because by the looks of it, with us doing our own marketing, we still do our own media, we do it on our own photos, we got people that we hire to do our photos and videos. With having our own marketer on board, we're super excited to see how this next launch goes, because from the first launch we done $7,000, second launch we done $15,000, third launch we done $25,000. We're growing incrementally per launch. Now we just have to get our costs down, and we have to try and catch up to how much we've already invested. So right now we are down $121,000 still from the $230,000 overall investment, because we got that $60,000 tax back. And we should get some sort of tax back again at the end of this financial year, just because we've still put so much more into the company. So I told you I would promise you that I'd speak about Alpha Fortis more often. I'll show you, oh, by the way, we just started a TikTok on it, so go follow that if you want to see us do some fun stuff. Sorry for the super boring vlog with all this business stuff, but I thought I'd get you up to date on how Alpha Fortis is going. I wanted to be very open about it, so people who get sold these get really hyped up to sell things. It's not as exciting as it seems. It is super exciting. I don't want to be a downer about it. It's not as easy as everybody online makes it out to be. And if it is that easy, then we're definitely doing something wrong, but we're trying to obviously learn as we go. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this businessy vlog. The next one's going to be a bit more interesting. I'm trying to get a new camera, but we can't afford one at the moment just because we've got a launch coming up. So then I can get better vlogs going on the camera instead of just using my phone the whole time. And yeah, that's this week's vlog. So thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. I don't know what that was, but that's...